welcome to Seniorities today. With myself, I'm Linda Hayes, the director of the Senior Center, as hopefully many of you know, and also J.D. Miller, the chairperson for my Council on Aging Board right now. Thank you for being here. And our guest today, we're very happy to have, is Ed Kotursky with Etrusco Associates, something that we look forward to discussing. The loaning of durable medical equipment is sort of the claim to fame of Etrusco, yes. But there is a great story that I have come to know, and I'm sure many of our audience either know the story or may have lived the story, but maybe you could start there for us, for our audience today.
It was March 16th of 1956 when the Italian freighter Etrusco ran aground just off Cedar Point in the lighthouse. And it was several months before the freighter was able to get refloated. The residents of Scituate, and particularly Cedar Point, housed the crew for that period of time, fed them, housed them, took care of them. Language was an issue at the time, but they found some interpreters to help with that.
The most Irish town in America hosted the Italians.
Yep. And it wasn't for about 5 or 6 months that the crew was housed in Scituate until they could get the ship refloated, then off to the shipyard in Boston for repairs.
I've seen photos around town of that juxtaposition of this huge, monstrous freighter next to what we think is a pretty decent-sized lighthouse. The lighthouse is tiny in comparison to this huge boat that had gotten pushed ashore.
At our building, there are several photographs, and some people have done some artist rendering, and it's quite impressive.
Yeah.
In November of '56, they finally refloated the ship, got it to Boston, and as a thank you from the owners of the ship and the folks from Etrusco, they sent some money to town and said, do something good with it. And what came out of it was this closet, if you will, where people could borrow equipment. And it has grown to a building that is donated by the Wheeler family and housed at 1 Common Street. And from there, we lend out durable medical equipment free of charge to residents of Scituate, surrounding towns. There are about 12 towns that use our services. A lot of the visiting nurses associations uses as well, and social services out of the hospitals. So find their patients to our home. There are currently about 25 volunteers who man this free. They are volunteers, and no one is paid. The equipment is donated and, if necessary, purchased. But it's really the volunteers that make this association work. They are truly a dedicated group of people.
So in the beginning, there was seed money, this donation by the Etrusco. And then you've continued to grow that. So is that part of your role, I guess?
We do fundraising once a year. We have an annual appeal where we send out letters to about 3,000 folks on our mailing list. We ask for donations, and during the year, people as well provide donations, some memorials, tributes, and it's just become, I think, one of the better parts of Scituate. It is really has a name, people know it, although some people come in and say, I never heard of this.
I was going to say, some people know it, some people don't.
Which is why we're here.
Yeah, exactly.
And it really has become a fixture here in town that I think is just a standing fixture that is so important to the town.
It's a nice emblem, and I will say, just because I know other senior centers, for instance, send their people, and it's come to the point that they don't have to, where they have limited storage anyway, have the equipment on site, even in the other towns, surrounding towns, because they can come to you as well.
Yeah.
So do you have that data even, that it's from people from everywhere locally?
Yes, it's basically from Hingham, Weymouth, all the way down through Pembroke and Duxbury, the towns served. There's about 15 towns that come in, and others as well. And the nice part is the service is extended to other parts of the state. There's a veterans group in Worcester who will take some of the equipment we just can't handle.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
They send a van over and we'll pick up that equipment. It's mostly the things that require a lot of mechanical or electrical components that we just can't seem to manage too well. And they
Right.
take the equipment and
Right.
distribute it to the veterans in need.
That is nice.
Yeah.
We also have in our back room a small repair shop where
Yeah.
Just gonna ask.
Ken does all of the repair work and
Right.
keeps all that equipment in good shape.
I've stuck my head back there before, yeah.
And
So in
his-
fact, you get donations of equipment, obviously, and then donate that same equipment, but sometimes it might
We
require a
need-
little
Needs
Needs a little,
TLC.
yeah, a little,
Yeah,
exactly.
we clean everything when it comes in,
Mm-hmm.
and then make sure it's in good working order, especially some of the things with brakes on them, the walkers and such. We gotta make sure the brakes are
You do.
working.
Yeah.
And we repair that, replace parts as needed, but Ken is the master repair person.
That
Yeah.
is wonderful.
And
Ed, you touched on it at the beginning, you may not have the answer to the question, but, I mean, like, whose fabulous brainchild of an idea was this? Because,
To use the money.
I'm
Exactly.
honestly not sure.
because it's a fabulous way
Mm.
to
It was.
help people, to recycle things, to.
A niche,
Oh,
a
my
great,
goodness, it's
great-
just,
A great need
Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
great niche.
Speaking of recycling, there's a gentleman we call, and sometimes the equipment just isn't salvageable.
Yeah.
So the metal parts all get recycled. We can recycle some equipment, we do it, as I mentioned, the group in Worcester, but at other times it just has to be discarded, and it hurts in a while for that, but
Yeah.
we
But
just
it's
have to
seen
do
good
it.
use, obviously.
It has been. It's well-worn equipment after a while.
Yeah.
And so, but the amazing part of this association for the years it has been in business are the volunteers. There's a board of directors of 15 in
Okay.
the board who also serve as volunteers at time.
Sure.
And it's just a great group of people who have a good soul and good heart to keep this thing going. And we've just recruited 2 or 3 new volunteers.
Good.
And so there's a cadre of about 25 now.
Are you in operation 5 days a week, 7 days a week?
6 days. We
6
do
days.
Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay.
and Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon.
And is there a phone that people
Yes.
they can leave messages if, of course, those aren't your hours of operation?
There is a phone. It's,
I would always suggest calling before you go down.
Yeah, it's 781-545-4411.
Just to make sure someone's there,
To make sure someone's there.
and or because the office hour, well, you've mentioned it already, but, and correct me
10
if I'm
to
wrong.
2.
It's usually just 10 to 2, so at 1:30, you're thinking, I should swing by there, and at 2:15, you go by, there might not be anybody there.
It would be
So-
rare that someone wouldn't be because we have been so busy. There are days that the volunteers don't get out till 3 o'clock.
Wow.
Just keeping up with the paperwork and keeping the house in order
Okay.
and such. But we
Yeah.
announce our hours as 10 to 2. There is an answering machine on the system. We discourage leaving messages because
We can't get back to 'em.
Can't necessarily
Right.
get back.
Okay,
And
good to know.
the other part of the system that works so well, if we don't happen to have a piece of equipment,
Yes.
we have our wish list.
Yeah.
And people can leave their name, phone number, and the equipment they want. We have a board with all the equipment listed. And as we get the items in, we call folks and say, we've got it.
Yep.
And if you're still interested,
Yep.
we'll hold the equipment for 3
Okay.
days for people to pick up.
Yeah.
What are the common items people are looking for, and also those that sometimes are so popular that they're not
Well,
in stock?
I was in Tuesday, and there was not a wheelchair to be found. Just for some reason, wheelchairs right now are the hide item. Normally, the 4-wheel walkers where they have handles and a seat
Right.
Yes.
Those
are
are-
rare items.
Right.
Now we've got
Beautiful.
about a dozen of them,
Right.
so they're
Oh,
available. And
okay.
it's just this floating in and out. Walkers, canes, and crutches
Yeah.
are always the popular, plenty.
Got plenty of them.
And we do have hospital beds. We keep about a
Which
dozen.
is always, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, hospital beds
Wow.
are enormously expensive. We keep about a dozen. And one of our board members has an arrangement with us that he will come and pick up the beds and bring them to the people who need them.
That's-
It's Dan Burkhart from Burkhart Brothers Moving
Oh, okay.
Company.
I've
And
seen
he
those
does
trucks.
have to charge for that to cover the cost of the men on the truck.
Nice, yeah.
But they are so
Oh.
heavy and so
Yeah.
bulky,
It's
it's
immensely
the
helpful.
preferred way to do this.
Yeah.
Sure.
And Dan is just marvelous to offer this service up for us.
That is great, that is really great. So I can see where it is helpful, obviously, to call during your hours to see if you have the equipment that
Yes.
someone would be interested
For
in.
most of the times, we have pretty much what people need.
Yeah.
Ironically, the busiest time for us, where most of the wheelchairs and transport chairs go, is in May and June for graduation time, when
Yeah.
grandma and grandpa are
Right.
coming and they
They
need a
want
little
it,
help, and
right?
they need the walkers, wheelchairs, so we get pretty busy. And heavy surgery times, people coming out of surgery,
Right.
needing all that
Yeah.
extra equipment. And we have a side room with just all kinds of bandages and cushions and equipment assists for those who need it for that short period of time during recovery. And as I mentioned, the visiting nurses are a big customer
Sure.
for their clients
Yep.
to
Sure.
come in. They know exactly what
Right.
they need
Yep.
and how to fit it.
And what
for the-
style or type would best
Exactly.
benefit their clients, that is
And
nice.
they're great teachers for us because there's equipment, that those of us who are not trained in
Yeah.
this kind of equipment,
Sure.
we have no idea what it is and how it's used. Boy, they are terrific teachers to us to say this
That
is
is
what it does,
great.
how it
That
works,
is
and what you should tell people. And so it's been a real community
No
effort
doubt.
for
Yeah,
keeping this
yeah.
going.
Growth?
Well,
Do you have, I mean,
Is there a
you're
future
jam-packed,
plan?
like you can't, can you take
Oh.
more than you've got in that space in that building? Or-
we can always house the equipment. We had a shed built recently by one of the Boy Scouts
Okay.
who did his Eagle Scout project and built a shed for us.
Okay.
So that's helped enormously. Growth is an interesting problem, a good problem
Yeah.
for us. Typically, there's one volunteer on at a time. There are days we could use 3 at a
Yeah.
time. It's just that busy, but everyone coming in has been so courteous and helpful just to help us out, wait a few minutes, and then we get everything done. And we leave all the paperwork to after 2 o'clock, and that's where the volunteers stay a bit to
That's why,
finish up
yeah,
the-
because there
finish up the
could be a
paperwork.
stack of that.
So you do keep track manually of the number of pieces
Yes.
that you have and what goes out and what
It's
comes
a
in?
card system, but we also have a computer system that was designed by a Scituate senior
Okay.
in his days here
Oh.
at school. He made this.
High school senior.
High school
Oh, very
senior.
nice. Oh,
Who
that's
made
great.
this computer program for us. He is since graduated, and I believe since graduated college, but he still helps us with this computer
That is
program. It
wonderful.
helps us keep track of the equipment, the inventory particularly. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, but we still have to file the necessary
Right.
tax forms, et cetera, so keeping track of inventory
I
is an
see.
important part of
That's-
this, and the
that's
computer
required.
does a perfect job for us.
Now, you
Yeah.
get so many donations of equipment, but yet you still fundraise, and you mentioned that you do have to do some purchases. So
Yes.
is that generally where the money goes, or are
That's
there other?
and it's maintenance for the building.
Awesome.
Buildings need maintenance continuously, and
Right.
buying equipment when needed, buying piece parts, armrests for wheelchairs. They
Yeah,
wear out, so
yeah.
wheels for wheelchairs, the little tips for the canes. These are the things that just wear out and need repairs, the brake systems for the walkers. So, so the donations pretty much cover what our expenses are, but that fundraising for year end is really our primary source of funds.
Is that when you do your appeal, is end of the year?
End of the year, the letters should go out first week in December, and we have a nice letter. It's the announcement of our
Yes.
annual meeting in September, and ask for dues of $1 to join. And that
Okay.
$1 goes a long way,
Wow.
and there are some very generous people in town who
Yeah,
make
yeah.
a sizable donation. Some have left memorials for us,
Mm.
and it's been extraordinary to give back to us, which has been great.
Does the appeal go to all the potential clients, in other
Yes.
words, regionally, not just in Scituate?
It goes out to everyone who's borrowed
ever
from
used.
us. We keep that as a mailing list, and others who just want to be on the list. So we keep that. There's about 3,000 letters that go out.
When did you acquire that building? How long have you been in that building?
It was in
It's been a while.
19 60
That
Yeah.
one.
plus or minus.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been there for a
I
long
don't have the
time.
exact date, but it was
And
the
that
Wheeler.
was someone's home previously?
No, it was a building donated by the Wheeler family, Robert Wheeler, for that. And it's next to Wheeler Park,
Yep.
which is also part of the family estate at one point, I
Yep.
I
understand.
see.
Yep.
So that's where we have our
It-
little building.
It's a good location. It's accessible for those who are
It
coming
is.
from out of town who don't know the area, but.
A lot of the phone calls are, how do I get there?
Well, yeah, until you know where it is, it's difficult to find,
Yeah.
I
Right.
think.
So we-
Now I guess I say that,
Yeah,
but.
yeah.
Yeah, we have a listed set of directions to read to people and
Yep.
give them their GPS location, so
Yeah.
it works pretty well.
Yeah. Ed, I mean, I'm both personally and professionally being in home care and personally because of my parents, I have used Etrusco both as a donor and to donate. And folks, I must tell you, it could not be easier to go down there and pick up something.
We try and make it
I
easy.
mean, you don't necessarily know that they've got it until you walk in the door,
Yeah.
or if you happen to catch someone on the phone, but walking in to get a cane or a walker or a shower chair for my parents, which was a godsend at the time, couldn't have been easier.
Yeah,
And, you know, maybe a month later, we were done and I brought them back.
Yeah,
And boom,
yeah.
back again for somebody else.
The
I mean, it
system
could not
works.
be easier.
The system, we try and keep it simple, just fill in a little card with some basic information so we can record it.
Yep.
And we generally say 6 months, but if you need it longer, that's fine too.
Yep.
We'll allow for that. And some things we never see again, but that's fine too.
Right.
We just think it's too important to worry about tracking it all down. We want it back because someone else is going to
Right.
need it.
Yeah.
And like you, I learned about the association by a user.
Yeah.
I needed it and then said, when I retire, this is
Oh, that's.
this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, but really, when all of a sudden, when you've got a scenario where mom or dad or next door neighbor has fallen and broken the hip, and okay, so they've gone into the hospital and they've had the hip replacement surgery or the whatever needs to be repaired. Now they've got to come home,
Right.
and all of a sudden now they need maybe the commode,
Maybe.
they need the cane, they
Yep.
need the transfer chair, they need the shower chair. They need a
Right.
table, a bedside table that occasionally you have. I've used that.
Yes.
All of a sudden, you're at home saying, "Wow, I need a lot of things. Where would I go to buy all those things? How much money is it going to cost me to buy all those things?"
It
And
is
if you know to
expensive.
call Etrusco, you can walk down there and maybe pull out with all of those things free of charge.
Exactly.
I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
What a benefit that is.
The nice thing that's happened recently with the rehab services and the visiting nurse associations, they are very popular users for us, for their clients.
Right.
And what's nice is they know exactly what you need and come in with a list and walk out with just about everything they need,
Right.
or go on the wish list. And
Right.
we try to turn that over pretty quickly.
And I'm sure there are those who have acquired that equipment new through insurance when they've had that need, and then
And
you've
now-
got some pretty good after
Mom
short-term
or
use.
mom
pretty
or dad
good
have passed
stuff.
away. What am I doing with this stuff?
Yeah.
I can
Post-recovery.
I can
Right,
go down
the
and
rehab.
donate it.
Yeah, yesterday, some folks walked in with about 9 pieces of equipment. And again, the parents had passed, and,
Yep.
and it was, they had
Yeah,
heard
we
about
don't
it.
need, we don't need it anymore. Give it to somebody who can use it.
Right. 2 weeks ago, someone came in with a shower chair that was in pretty tough condition.
Oh.
They found it at the transfer station.
Oh.
Someone had put it in a recycle area.
Right.
They grabbed it, and it even had our sticker on it, so they
Okay.
knew where to bring it.
Yeah.
We cleaned it up, and it'll be reused again. So
That's nice.
it finds our way to Etrusco. So
And
it's
those
beautiful.
things are hugely important in the house when mom or dad need them
Yeah.
to get some things taken care of. But when they're not right, like,
Get
okay,
rid of
we're all done with this now, we can give it back.
Exactly.
We don't need to store it, we don't need to store it, we don't need to keep it and have it collect dust, we can give it back and let somebody else use it again. I mean, it's
Exactly.
incredible.
That's the secret to the whole
Yeah.
thing, is the recycling.
Yeah.
Back in, again, there's, enormous numbers of pieces of equipment, and sometimes we're out of it, but
Right.
sometimes we're in abundance. And right now, if anyone needs a walker, we've got them.
Oh, you've got them.
Yeah. Wheelchairs, not so much, but
Walkers, crutches, canes, anytime, in my
Exactly.
opinion. You
Exactly.
tell me, but
yes.
anytime you can get that,
Yeah,
anytime.
and a lot
There's
of
some
kids-
things like, a stationary exercise bike for a knee replacement, that's a little bit more difficult.
Got 2 of them right now.
There
Oh,
you
my
go.
gosh.
Yep. Yeah, 2
But,
of 'em.
and I didn't know about hospital beds. Hospital beds are hugely important for people. You've got 10 right now.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So there's some big stuff that are very difficult to find and are very expensive, and you could go down to Etrusco and pick it up.
Yeah, we've also found that there are several area businesses that we use for buying equipment, and there are times when we may just not have anything. We found a few of the major retailers have some websites. Their prices are fairly attractive to buy the things.
Okay.
And so there's another outlet if we just don't have it and you need it right away. So we found some good friends there as well.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So we just hope it continues. It would be nice to see this modeled in other communities.
Yes.
We've heard that others have tried, but with paid employees, and it doesn't seem to work well.
The financial management doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work, and it would be a financial burden if you don't get the fundraising.
Yeah.
How are you
Right.
going to
I mean,
pay
you
the
either
people?
need grants or,
Right.
a start foundation.
Right. It would be nice if the state could do something, maybe in other parts of the Commonwealth, but again, this is one of those things that started so small that has just grown to be a fairly extensive part of the
Yeah.
community. And
It is.
could you start it elsewhere? I'm sure you could, but
Yeah.
I think the key to it is finding this group of volunteers who are dedicated.
Right.
Many have some medical training. They could have been rehab
Right.
nurses
Sure.
or worked in nursing homes or have other medical direct or indirect training, and that's been a huge help to
Right.
find the right equipment, know
Right.
what we need to have available for
Right.
folks. And I think that, and then as we learn about
Yeah.
these things, it just continues the educational process, which is
It is
so
such
important.
a wonderful Scituate resource, and it's
It
a great
is.
story,
is.
really, the evolution, I guess,
Yes.
and it's just so purposeful for
It is.
the community, so that it
Yeah.
is a great model, and I wouldn't be surprised if some would try to replicate it.
It would be nice, because we get calls from faraway places, especially adult children of area seniors who, my
Right.
parents need something, I'm in Maine, I'm in California, how can
Right.
we do this?
Ah.
And we give them help on how to do it
Right.
through some community
Okay.
services, and let us know when you need equipment, we'll reserve it for you, and et cetera, and when you come
Right.
by and pick it up. The one thing that we don't have currently is a pickup and delivery service,
Right.
other than
Right.
for the beds.
Yep,
That
you
would
got
And,
it. Yep, you got to go down and sort of pick up.
You got to go pick it
Yeah.
up, and part of that actually
Yeah.
works well, because then you can choose the exact
Right.
item you
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
and need.
Yeah.
And if it were on delivery, we might not have put the right one on the
Right.
car or truck, so,
Right,
good news,
and to-
bad news, but I think it's better to be there and see
A
it
little bit.
and understand, because many people come in and ask for X, and what they really wanted was Y,
Well-
but didn't
That
know
would be
that it
me.
was Y.
If you walk in, you wouldn't know the difference, you wouldn't know
Right.
there was that much of a difference between how many commodes are out there and how many
Right.
walkers are out there in
Right.
different
Right.
styles,
Yeah.
sizes,
Right. And you-
foldable, heavy, lightweight.
Yes.
Decisions, yeah, I need a
adjustable.
visual.
I mean,
Exactly, and so, and try them, you know,
Right.
see how it works.
And you do have a website.
ScituateEtrusco.com, to
Okay.
be exact.
okay.
Thanks.
And you can get information
Yeah.
there.
Could be some pictures of types of things, not necessarily what you have in stock, but at least some guidelines.
Best thing is to call
Yeah,
and just to
Yeah.
talk to the people who
Yeah.
are there to make sure we've got it, or we'll have it, or we
Sure.
don't have it.
You can put a reservation on it.
And put the reservation.
the name on the list, wish
Yeah.
list.
And even if we have it and you're not going to get there for a day or two, we'll hold it
Sure,
for you
yeah.
for a few days. So
So, let's do it again. Phone number?
781-545-4411. Website, www.scituateetrusco.com.
.com. Address?
1 Common Street here in Scituate.
So that's off of Stockbridge.
At the intersection at Stockbridge Road.
Right,
Yeah, and
near Wheeler Park.
Near Wheeler
But it's
Park,
not the Wheeler Park entrance, it's this little driveway right
With
next
a-
to Wheeler Park entrance.
with a big
that you-
anchor.
You've
Right,
got the logo
Right.
on it.
You go, oh, the logo's there
Lifesaver.
and the big anchor is out there. You almost can't miss it.
hours, basically Monday
Monday through Friday.
Okay,
10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
okay,
And Saturday, 10 a.m. to noon.
okay. So, if you know of anyone, or if you're in need of durable medical equipment,
Give us a call.
we have a place right in town. At
Indeed.
Driscoll Associates.
Indeed. Thank you very much.
Well,
Thank
thank
you,
you for
Ed, for
coming.
being here. It really is wonderful. You've
Thank
been a
you.
great help. So to close out, I guess a few little updates for the senior center. We're so thrilled to be able to say at this point, just nearing the end of October, that the Navy Band Northeast from out of Newport, Rhode Island, 30-piece pops ensemble is coming on November 8th, and it is being held at the Performance Center at Scituate High School, which has a capacity of 750 seats. Now, this is a collaboration between the Council on Aging, the school's music programs. Middle and high school students are receiving some instruction from some of the professional musicians, which is wonderful, through Greg Lassard, the band director there. But we have gone through quite a few tickets.
Yeah, well, that's
So, although
to
it
be
is a free
popular.
event, the tickets are required, and in fact, we may make capacity. So, a very-
Veterans Day is the 11th.
it is a tribute for
We're
Veterans
gonna
Day.
be the 8th.
We are the 8th,
Thursday
evening
the 8th.
at 7. So really, it is important to have tickets and to call the senior center or check with the library. The school has some tickets, so if your student is there, that is also a place to go through Greg Lassard or the middle school office. So we're happy about that. We also have a program starting up next week that we are proud of, the Aging Mastery Program. It's our 4th year doing that. We just offer it in the fall. It's a wonderful 10-week program which contributes to people's longevity and learning a little bit more about healthy aging and what types of things they may be able to change or reinforce, develop new habits that just take them through those years, whether you're 60 or 90, frankly, it's very relevant. So topics like physical activity, exercise, gratitude, and just spending the time that we've been given, and healthy eating, but also advanced planning and financial fitness. So there's an array of topics that are really useful, helpful, interesting. So we're proud of that. That starts next week on November 1st. And then also, we have a 4-week memory training that is new, and we have a license to run this for a year only, starting the end of November for 4 weeks. We will do it again, and it's limited seating for 15, but it's a great 4-week program for those memory challenges that frankly we all have, whether, honestly, I think I've had them since I was 30 at least. But names and faces, remembering why we walked into a room, just things that there's techniques and strategies that have been proven. It truly is evidence-based and came out of the UCLA Longevity Center. So it's a wonderful program, and really proud and happy to be able to offer that through, in fact, a grant from the Scituate Education Foundation. So that is happening towards the end of November, if you want to call the Senior Center and sign up for that.
Awesome.
That is about all I have.
Good issues,
to-
good busy stuff.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Catch you next time.
Yeah.
Thanks so much
Thank
for
you.
tuning in.